Alright, so it's another week done, another week down in the literal sense for silver. So let's have a look. What a precipitous drop. What a precipitous drop. I mean, I had this marked in here as sort of a bull flag type thing. This was the breakout. I assumed we were going to get a retest and then, break out more, but oof, we just fell right through it, and we came back into 2440 was the big quarterly level. We came back under this wick into supply, or demand rather, whatever you know. And I thought we would bounce here, so I was buying. That went well. But what a down move. What a down move. And now we're down here. We're in this area here, near the initiating base of this move. And what for it? I mean, what for it indeed. Let's have a look at the yearly. So anything under 2320 is not good. Hopefully this is just a brief visit under 2320. And once we get back over, good things will resume. But for the time being, I mean, yeah. Going from $12 an ounce to $29 an ounce in 1 year, I mean, it's always going to take some recovery time after that. But how many years do we have? How many more grey hairs do we want before we actually get somewhere? Huh? So as soon as we get over 2320, basically things will start looking up a little. But that weekly chart, could it be more ugly? You can see we're coming into this sort of channel support here. And then just traced out with my mouse. As well, I mean, that's what it looks like on the weekly. But it does look, it looks terrible, doesn't it? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. And there's the daily. So there is some hope on the daily. I've taken some longs around here just because this is such a good opportunity. It doesn't look all that great on the daily from an indicator perspective, but we are extremely in a good area to at least try to go along. On the hourly, there's that 2320, till we get back over there, nothing really means anything. That's a positive momentum divergence. Down to the half hour, we get one on the composite PVT as well. Although we lose it slightly on the momentum. Double bottom. So yeah, what will we get from this? I don't know. I really don't know. If we bring up some of these silver charts. So silver against stocks, for example. I actually had a bit of a bounce, but then stocks were punished on Friday. Silver against treasuries, again, maybe we're in a bit of a bounce area. Silver against gold. I mean, this is, I've only got 1 year, let's take it out to 18 months of data. A new 18-month low against gold. I mean, 18 months, that's more or less the whole period of silver's consolidation. Ever since it first touched $29. It's possible this is such an extreme reading we're going to get something of a bounce. Let's take it up to 2 years and 6 months. Not good performance. So against all commodities. Again, in the last, let's take this out to 18 months. In the last 18 months, yeah, silver's never done worse against commodities. in the last 18 months. Silver has never done worse against gold, but it was worse a couple of years ago. Silver against bonds, worse 18 months. Well, this was bonds absolutely dive bombing the concrete and flatlining. So silver did nothing and it went up in the ratio, and then it went down again. It was punished so much relative to bonds getting punished that it actually managed to fall against bonds. What a disaster. So it's not looking good in a nutshell. But things have to look really bad, presumably at turning points. So we'll see. It was worth taking a bit of a long here. Again, the daily. Going down to the half hour made sense. And we'll see. We're getting some quite extreme readings on those ratios, but they can always get more extreme, and we could come tumbling down. We could, worst case scenario or best case scenario, if you're into that sort of thing, is this time next year. Well, maybe not. Maybe in summer even. We'll be down at $18 again. At which point it would be time to sell everything you own and buy silver, I think, if it did ever get to $18 again. That's my perspective there. Stocks, thank goodness I've been shorting them. That's helped make up for some of the pain of trying to buy silver. And I think stocks are still short worthy. See why? New lows on NIOD. Rhinos in the shitter. NAHL still firmly in negative territory. There's no reason to be getting long. No significant divergences. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times we've been at this level. It's going to break. It's exhausted. It's going to break. Is the side I'm taking. We zoom out a little bit. Let's go to the weekly. There we are. The next real support is at 3,400, 35, 34, 3,300 kind of area. I'd be short for there. Oh, this is going to get chopped right through. This is the last significant congestion. So let's call it 3,400. So that's 700 points we could fall. And still be way, way, way up here. Yeah? So there's no obvious or screaming reasons to be getting long. We're at lows, but hey, we were here a few days ago, and that's what we got. We got that move. So I'm going to be shorting some more of that. I'm going to be trying. So I'm long silver. I'm short stocks. If you look at the Nasdaq. We've come down to this 70.7 again. The next stop would be 12,000 to the 61.8 or thereabouts. 11,800. And 80 something, if you please. Weekly. It's getting that sort of left head, right shoulder type of look to it. Testing, breaking down, retesting, testing. In context, short biased still. There's the 2 hourly. Yeah, you got some. That looks like a fairly monstrous divergence coming in, but the overall context is, again, not looking good. So I'm tempted to say, well, ignore this divergence. Uranium, let's start on the weekly. Well, it's got a long way to go to all-time highs, but it's had a big run up. It's come back down, it's retested this level. It's a fair enough level to take some longs. It could be coming back down here, it could be coming back to these sort of prices here, 1680s, potentially. Gold. How much better is gold holding up than silver? None of this bullshit in gold about you know, it's above its 2011 highs. It's gone above it twice now. Possible we're coming for a back test this trendline breakout. Could be looking towards the end of May, start of June if it really wants to drag things out on the weekly. But then again, maybe this rejection here is setting up something worse. See? There. But the fact we've gone 1, 2, 3 times. We hit it once, we had this accumulation, multi-year. We hit it again, this accumulation, multi-month. We hit it again, we get maybe another accumulation that'll just be multi-week, and then maybe we'll break out. Do we have a lower time frame? No, we don't. Let's go down to the 4 hour then. Whoop, here we are. There's that weekly trend line down here. If you're an inverted head and shoulderer, we're making a right shoulder perhaps. It'd be worth a go. It'd be worth a go on the long side. Just don't bet the house on it in case we go lower. Dollar looks ready to go. It looks ready to go. That's a heck of a move. If we're treating this as a range, we've come to the range top, and this sort of frantic move, this enormous, this huge candle is sort of a exhaustion move maybe. An increasingly sort of hysterical, increasingly vertical move up. That is it unsustainable? It's very interesting, isn't it? So really that's the level we want to see broke. We want to see it under 10.311 intraday and stay there. Thank you kindly. Looks like I might be going back over it. Interesting times in the dollar index. I mean, it could go up, continue to go up against, because this is just against other fiat currencies. The fact that it's been going up all year hasn't bothered gold. It's bothered silver, but it hasn't bothered gold, so... Anyway. GBP, JPY. The yen's been in big trouble. When even the pound is doing well against you, there's nothing special about the pound. Could have looked like a way back test this big trend line. In which case it may go higher, the pound. Bombers! There's a precipitous chart. Let's go on the monthly. Oof, look at that. And where did it pause? Exactly where we were talking about before. It's continued to pause in that area. Bing bong, 2 weeks. 2 weeks of pause in this area. Where now? Where now is the next question. Looks like it might want to continue down. It's in no man's land. If you're a buyer, then I guess this is... You'd say that was the buy. I don't know. It's got an ugly look to it. maybe we need to come down here. Just thicken that up, because that's a very, very long term. See, can we see it on the weekly? Yeah, it's coming in down here at 10,000. Yeah. Oof. That's all I can say when I see that is oof. Good grief. Violent. It's violence. So some of the internals the other week on the stock indices looked like they were picking up a bit, and there was a positive divergence potentially on price volume trend. But then I looked at semiconductors, and real estate and high yield, and I said to myself, these look like complete shit. So that was my basis for continuing to short the S&P, and it works out pretty well. Once again, too bad that was only the minority part of my account, of my leverage, because most of it was me trying to get long silver, but at least it took the edge off. Once again, it staunched the bleeding a little bit on that. And I'm not sure there's a whole bunch more to say. Oil might be winding up for another run. There's a whole lot more to say, I think. Yeah, look at that. That's a weekly line. Keep finding support. Yeah, I think that's about all we've got left to cover. Look at the euro. Look at it. Fell out of its channel. Took these lows. In the big scheme of things, it's, as terrible as that looks on a weekly and a daily. Zooming out more, it kind of you zoom out far enough, oil price actually starts to look a bit meaningless on this chart. I mean, is that a range high and these are deviations? What's that? Is this your range low? Yeah. And this your deviation? That would make this sort of a midpoint. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? So, if we're banging along this sort of midpoint, then it could go a lot lower. Things could get a lot nastier for the euro. Quite what this implies for commodities. Does it really bear thinking about? For those of us trying to get long silver, I suppose it does. It bears thinking about that we're going to be fooked. So I know that I saw Grady saying this is probably a huge false breakdown on euro, but I mean, not necessarily. We'll see. But at the halfway mark, again, it's it'd be good as place as any, I suppose. You could try along with close to parity. We're close to parity with dollar. And they just announced a whole further set of integration measures of the EU that ought to firm up the basis of the whole thing. But I guess it's maybe the demographic question is. I don't know. Who knows? Wrong to try and impute motivations to buying and selling and horse trading. That's all it is. Yeah, look at that. So anything below here basically would we continue to sell. If it gets above 10, 5, 6, 7, maybe we want to go long. I think we've looked at everything, so let's call it quits.